Let's see. Pull this over here, maybe. Alrighty guys, thanks for joining me. This is your host ID Jester. We are playing a very cool tactical system called Old School Tactical. This will be our first go of this game, so I will probably make some mistakes, probably forget some stuff, probably whatever. So just keep that in mind. This is not a tutorial game. This is just a overview game of the scenario and the tactical system. So hopefully we'll do okay, and we'll be able to enjoy the scenario and just go bypass any errors or issues that we come across. So this actually is from the Stalingrad expansion. So I actually own Old School Tactical Volume 1, the East Front, 41 and 42, as you can see. And what I ended up doing was picking up the expansion from, what's it called? It's called Wargaming Vault. And they sell a lot of games where you can like print and play your own maps and everything. So that's what I did. I picked this up. Right now they got a 25% off sale, or 20 or 25% off. So I picked up the expansion and printed out all my little maps, and as you can see here, all my different little maps that we have. And when I put it all together, it makes this one huge map board. But we only need this little section of the map right now, so that's what we're going to use for this scenario. So we're going to actually a lot to talk about. So this scenario, let's talk about it. So anyways, yeah, you should might want to look up Wargaming Vault if you're into printing out your own stuff. So I printed this all out, and the counters I did not. So the counters I got from the original game, which is cool. It does come with the counters, but I just didn't mount them yet. So if we look at what I ended up doing is printing these out and some label sheets, and then I'm going to mount these on some kind of board or something, and then cut them out, and I'll have them for next time maybe. So, but in the meantime, all of the counters I need came with the original game, so we're going to use those. There's one exception. There wasn't enough shock troops, so I had to actually give them a rifle squad. So I think the Russians only come with shock troops. No, they actually come with some rifle squads, but they're up here. But this unit right here, this rifle squad, is actually a shock troop because I just didn't have enough, and I thought, well, I'll just use this counter instead. So that's fine. You know, it's no big deal. All right, so the scenario we're going to be playing is called RATTENKRIEG. And this is from September 24th, 1942. The war in Stalingrad evolved into bitter, dirty fighting in the rubble. The Germans called it RATTENKRIEG, or War of the Rats. Small groups of soldiers fought for only meters of precious space. The Russians carried out the fighting using small armed units known as shock groups to capture and hold buildings. Two shock groups from the 62nd Army attack the German units of the 71st Infantry Division to take over the block. And of course, it has your little coordinates here. Special rules: the Germans set up first. Control X's are under German control at the start. There's no board offsets. And the victory, there's control hexes are worth 1 victory point at the end of the game. Control X's are with unresolved melee at game end are not scored. Highest total of victory points determines the victor. If a draw, then the highest total of enemy casualty points determines the victor. All right, so that's the scenario. If you guys want to. All right, so the Germans set up first. So what we have here is these little tokens here to kind of represent the area the Germans can start in. So they can start in, they have to start west of this row here where the red and the yellow and the green are. They have to start west, so that way of that. And they have to start south of row 21 and only to V, which is this column right here, is in play to the left. So this last row here on this map is not available. So that's the German starting location, is in this bottom left-hand corner. There are victory point locations. One you can see here. I believe there's one. Yeah, there's one under here, right there. There is one in this stack here. There's one in this stack here, and I believe there's one in this stack here. Yeah. So there's 5 victory point locations. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 3 down here, 2 kind of up to the north. The Germans must set up first, and they have to, like I said, be west and south of those 2 locations. So I can actually go ahead and get rid of these now. I just left these on the board so I can explain why things are done the way they were. All right. So we get rid of those. So the map edge, as you can see by our grand tokens here. Hey, Viper Dave, I was watching your Lock and Load video and saw you were live. Hey, good timing on that, brother. Good to see you. So the map edge here is, this is the edge there, and then this is the east edge over here, and the south edge over there. So the Russians have units starting over here on the east and on the north. So once the Germans finish setting up, then the Russians set up their units, and then we're ready to go. Now the Russians do have units coming in, and they can choose either edge to come in, and those come in on turn number 3, I believe it is, or turn number 6. So in old school tactical, you start at whatever the turn number is. So in this case, you start at turn 7 and you count down till you get to 1. And then when you hit 1, you will roll a dice. And on a 5 or 6, you will go down to 0 and play that out. And that'll be the final turn. If it's a 1, 2, 3, or 4, then it just ends. So it's kind of a variable ending. You're just never sure what it's going to come. All right, so I've got over here on this side, which you guys probably can't see. I'll bring it over here, but it's got a turn marker, casualty points, and in-point points, which are going to be using dice to keep track of. The turn marker, the victory points, and of course our terrain. So I'm gonna keep that off the board over here. I'll keep referencing it because I own the base game. Of course, I do have all of the different unit cards that for all the different units, and same thing with the Germans. There are a few missing, but all right. So let's look at our board. So this is a very tough and interesting board because several things happen on this board. There was no rule book that came specifically for this edition to kind of describe what's going on, but I reread through the rules and such, in that anytime there is, like for example, If we look at BB23 here, that's kind of a bad. Okay, let's look at this one. AA24. AA24. You can see it's got the little marker in the corner that shows it is got a level 2 building inside that hex. But you notice the center dot is not part of that building. But the center dot is also colored the same color as the height indicator down here in the bottom right hand corner. And after rereading the rules, it says that if the unit, we're just going to take this sniper, enters that hex, you can either choose to use the plain terrain, or you can claim that you're going into the building. And of course, if you're going in the building, you got to pay the building cost. If you're using the regular terrain cost, then you just pay that. So if the sniper wanted to move, you can go 1 and just say that he's not going in the building, and then he can spend a point to go there. Because this hex, as you can see, doesn't have that little indicator that it's part of a building in it. So there's going to be some rough trying to figure out terrain, line of sight issues between the different buildings and stuff. Basically, anything from this little quadrant back here, right, is just basically a 2-story building all the way through. Now there's this one road that comes this way that's some of the hexes are not part of that, and some of the hexes down here in between them, but mostly it's going to be building to building to building to building to building to building hex. So there's not going to be a lot of range to shoot things. But according to the rules, what you want to do is you look at the center dot, to go to the center dot, and see if you have line of sight. So even though you might be in a building like this, the center dot is out here in the street, which means you can look down the street to a different center dot, like this one down here, and be able to see it. So there will be some line of sight kind of issues, I think, a little bit. But I like my little print and play map and stuff. The original game comes with a huge map board. It's like 42 by 36 inches. I mean, it's just massive, right? And so when I printed these map sheets out, I'm like, I don't want to create, I just put a couple together, and you can see I can kind of, there's a separation here. So I got like 2 sections that I just pushed together, and it works really, really well because I don't need to worry about having a huge, huge map on the board. All right. So I got the Russians set up, got the Germans set up, and again, 7 turns. All right. I have a dice here. It's on the 7, right? So that's to represent the guts check, or if you're used to other tactical systems, think of like a morale check. So guts is what they call it here. The units have to pass a guts check, or they might become shaken, or they might become broken, right? Depending on your results. The system is actually very easy. The rules lay it out very quick and easy, and after rereading the rules a couple times, I thought, oh, this is pretty simple. We should be able to get this up and running without much of a problem whatsoever. It's actually a very easy system that's kind of actually complex and deep in its own right, because you're going to be working with an impulse system. So each side has got an impulse system. So for example, the Russian forces are going to roll 3 dice. The Germans are going to roll 2 dice. And so, for example, if we're doing the Russians, let's get out a couple dice. We will roll 3 dice, and now this doesn't count because I'm just explaining things. So you just roll those dice, and that is 11 and 12. So you just add them up, and we're going to keep track on our little die over here. But they would have 12 activations for their turn. And That means moves and fires and assault moves and whatever. So a unit, when they go to move or do something, obviously they can either move or fire. Most everything in the game is considered either a move or fire order. And even though, like, throwing smoke is not technically firing, but it's considered a fire action. So if a unit throws smoke, you would put a fire marker on it. And the way I'm doing it is, whatever is pointing to the north is what the unit did. So even though the Russians are coming south towards me, whatever I put towards the north is what the actual unit did. So in this case, if this unit was to throw smoke, he would get a fire marker. That doesn't mean he's done for the turn, because he can still move. And once he then moves, then you flip this over and it goes to the U side. And that means that unit is done. Now he can't take any more actions. So that you're working on an impulse system, and the Russians are going to have a certain amount of points to spend on their units to move and fire. Again, just because the unit fired doesn't mean he can't fire again. There is only one restriction: if you move, you can't move again. So once you move, that's the only caveat, is you can't like move and then move again. But you can move and fire, you can fire and fire, you can move and fire, you can move and assault, which means the only way in this game to start melee is you move up to an adjacent unit for an impulse, and you have to stop. And then you have to assault move at a later date. You can assault move, and then you would move into the hex and it would go into melee. So that's how that happens. Of course, there's opportunity fire, unless of course you're used. Then you can't do that. Now there is a caveat to that. There's always a caveat, isn't there? Let's see if they're on here anywhere. I don't see a counter for it to show you, but one time per round, a unit can intensify, which means he's already been used, right? But they can intensify one time. Unit becomes automatically shaken. They get a -1 to their attack, -1 to their damage roll. But it's kind of a last-ditch effort. If you know somebody's about ready to come in and assault you, and you've got no other recourse because you already used that unit up, you can intensify. Let's see, what else? I think that's probably about it. You'll see more play as we go. Alright, so there is also a card system in this, the luck system, with cards that do different things, and each side gets a luck card. Obviously, if you're playing face-to-face, your opponent wouldn't know what you have, what kind of tricks you have up your sleeve, because it'll kind of let you break the rules and such. So what I'm going to do, because I'm playing solo, is just give each side a card, and then we'll just have to just make the do with it the best we can and pretend like we don't know what the other player has. And even though we do, obviously it's going to be a little hard to pretend like we don't know what he's got. So alright, so we will roll for the Germans first here. Let's just make sure. Now, of course, if we draw anything, some of these have to do with vehicles and tanks and stuff like that. If we draw one of that, we won't use it because there is no vehicles or tanks in this mission. So if we draw a vehicle or tank, we will redraw for that side. Alright, so I think that's pretty shuffled up. So for the Germans, they got command and control. After rolling for impulse points at the start of a turn, you can add 3 to your total. So that's really good. So if the Germans only get 2d6s. So if they roll, say, 1-1, right? they're going to have 2 impulses. That's 1 move and 1 fire, or 1 fire and another 2 fires. That's not a lot when you got all these units out here. The Russians can just come swarming in because they know the Germans can't. They can't opportunity fire. They can't do anything because they don't have enough action. So having this guard, in case you roll really, really low, that's a good option. So that's great for the Germans to have that. Now the Russians, they're going to have mortar attack. So they're going to be able to launch a mortar attack on the enemy target. Hex must be in line of sight of any good order unit. Firepower is 4 to the main hex and 2 to every hex around it. And the accuracy is a 4, so 4 or higher and it'll be accurate. And it also can cause a collapse, and we've got a lot of buildings here, so that is going to be huge for the Russians. So I'm actually going to put the mortar attack with the Russians' squads. So their shock squads, which are most everything the Russians have are shock squads, they get a +1 in melee. So they're, that's kind of what they do. They run in and do a lot of melee. All right, so we'll just leave those cards out like that. And then for the Germans here, we got the command and control with the rifle squad, the leader. They do have a heavy machine gun and snipers. So that'll be for the Germans here now. All right, and both sides have a guts check of 7. Again, think of guts check as like a morale check. It will prevent you from being broken or shaken and results. All right, so we will now roll. Where's my little? So there's different charts. We got terrain chart, infantry combat chart. Blah blah blah. Is there a breakdown? Okay, turn sequence. There we go. That's what I wanted to see. All right. All right. All right. All right. Turn marker reinforcements. See, right off the bat, turn marker, and that is such an interesting one because even though we start on turn 7, right? We start on turn 7. Let me look this up again and talk to you about that because it's a little weird. Let's see here. Opportunity fire. I'm looking for the actual rule here, so just give me a second. Okay, so adjust the turn marker. Turns count down from whatever. So we start at turn 7, so it counts down to number 1 on the turn track at the beginning of a new turn. All right. So that's the turn marker. Boom. Reinforcements. We don't have any. Attach leaders. So all leaders have to attach to a unit that they're with. And so this sergeant is attached, basically they're attached to whatever unit they're with at the time. So like this sergeant is attached to this rifle squad, blah, blah, blah. But you can change those during this phase. Like if you had multiple units in a hex, you could change one out. You would adjust the smoke counters, snare, roll, free rog, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so we're at the initiative phase. So the Germans will be the black dice, the Russians will be the white dice. So you're going to roll to see who has the initiative on the first turn, and I don't think it says in the rules. Hang on a second, let's see here. I don't think it says if like one side or the other has, not in this scenario anyways, but Oh, you know what? I did forget. They do get +1 cover somewhere as well. So good thing I did check that. So here's what the Germans have. So let's look at it real quick. So they have a lieutenant. They have a sergeant. They have 3 rifle squads. They have 3 assault squads. They have 2 snipers, a heavy machine gun, a light machine gun, and 2 grenade bundles. And +1 cover in one of their hexes. The Russians start with, these guys are on the east edge, so over that way. They have a sergeant, 5 shock units, and 2 Molotovs. They have a sniper, which can start either on the north or the east edge. And then in the north edge over there, they have sergeant, they have 4 shocks, they have 2 Molotovs. And then reinforcements enter on turn 6, which will be a lieutenant, 2 rifle squads, and a light machine gun. And they can come in either edge, either the north or the east edge. Alright, so no adjustments there. Alright, so initiative. Let's see what we got here. Alright, the Germans win initiative. They won 10-6. In old school tactical, rolling high is always good. The higher you roll, the better it is. The better chance you have of hitting somebody, the better chance you have of damaging somebody, the more impulses you're going to get. The higher your initiative, the better chance you win initiative. Rolling high is always good. So in this case, the Germans won initiative, and they will go first. So we will put, I don't have a counter for that, but we'll just remember the Germans go first. Now, we will roll for the impulse. So the Germans only get 2d6. Oh my gosh, look at that. Wow. James says he just got volume 3. Awesome. That is the Pacific edition. Yeah. Awesome. I'm thinking about picking that up on the Wargaming Vault and printing it all out and having it for myself. But we'll see. Wargaming Vault have a special going on until tomorrow at 10 o'clock in the morning. 25% off. This is a printing. The counters aren't, but the map is. And like I said, I do have the counters all printed out. I just haven't mounted them on anything yet, so I'm just using my original game counters. So the Germans have 12, look at that, 12 impulses. That is huge. Huge. So the Germans have 12. The Russians, on the other hand, they get 3d6. Oh, wow. 3, 4, 5, 6. So you can see what a big difference this is going to be. So the Russians can only bring in 6 units, and they have all these different units. Wow, that's going to be rough. That's going to be rough. It's going to be a tough start for the Russians, that is for sure. So, Germans have initiative, so they get to go first. So they can activate a unit, which will cost an impulse. If a leader is attached with the unit, so we have in this little thing, we have our lieutenant here. Whoa, zoom in there, Mr. Cameraman. Or a sergeant, sorry. He's attached to a rifle squad who has a light machine gun. This costs 1 activation, because the leader is basically attached to this unit. So we activate this unit, we can move them. No, hell, where the hell were they? I think they were right. Yes, they were right there. All right, so let's talk real quick about the symbols on the counters for you guys. And every time I bring this up, I lose my screen. All right, there we go. Alright, let's see if we can do this here. Not in the shadows there, buddy. Hello? Mr. Cameraman. So, see if I can do it like this. Alright, there you go. So in the top left-hand corner, it says 4 and then a subscript of 6. That's their firepower and range. So this rifle squad has a firepower of 4, has a range of 6. The middle number there, and right there, the middle number, is its defense. And then the last number over there is its movement. And then, of course, when you flip over, it'll be reduced. It'll show you the reduced. It's kind of split in half. And the firepower, range, and all that, blah, blah, blah. All right. So let's get things underway. There's always lots to talk about when you're starting a new game and setting up a scenario and everything, blah, blah, blah. But we want to try and keep the Russians from swarming us here. So we're going to activate this unit right there, which costs 1 of our activations. So we go from 12 down to 11, because it only costs us 1. And we're going to activate him. We're going to go 1, 2 to move into that hex. And we're going to go 1, 2 to move in this hex. And we talked about this in the beginning. Because it's got a triangle in there, this hex is either an open hex or road hex or a building hex. You can decide. And unless you say otherwise, it's assumed you're going in the building. In this case, we are going in the building. So we're in the building in that hex right there. And of course, we put a move counter on this guy. And we're done. Goes to the Russians. The Russians get to go. Now you can, let's see if I can, alright. So this is a good example for the Russians here. So we have a leader that's attached to this shock unit. And we also have another shock unit in there with the Molotov. If we want to activate more than one unit at a time, you have to have a leader. You have to have a leader. And they have to either be in the same hex or an adjacent hex. So if these guys were if we had something like this, these guys were in one hex, and this other unit was in another hex, you could activate all these guys. But it costs 2 activations to do that, not just 1. And even if they're in the same hex, it costs you 2 activations. But the only way to actually ever activate more than 1 unit at a time, and when I'm talking about unit, I'm not talking about leader, I'm talking about like a full squad or a half squad or anything other than a single man counter. It takes an impulse. The only way to ever do that with more than 1 unit at a time is with a leader. And you can only ever do it with 2 because the maximum amount in a hex is 2. So if the Russians decide, oh, we want to spend 2 impulses to move this guy, right? It's going to cost him 2 impulses. He only got 6 impulses for the whole game. Or the whole turn, sorry. The whole turn. Not the whole game. He's going to activate this shock unit right there. So he's going to go down to 5. And he is in the hex by himself. He does have a Molotov. But he's going to go 1. Again, he's going to not go in the building. So it only costs him 1 to go in there. But he's behind this building. The sniper cannot see him. He's going to go 2. Again, he's going to be in this building. And this line of sight would go through this building. So he's blocked. And then he's going to go 3, 4. And he is going to move into this building hex. The buildings in this, all these buildings, these grayish buildings, are what they call heavy terrain buildings. And they give you a +2 to your defensive value. So if you have a defensive 4, you would get a +2. That's a defensive value of 6. So it's going to be very, very hard to kill anyone that's in a building, because the defensive values are going to be very, very high, and you don't have a lot of firepower. It's not like some other tactical games, like, for example, let's say ASL or something, if you're familiar with that, where you're running around with a leader, like a -2 leader with 3 really good units with support weapons, and they have a kill stack, and you just run around killing things with that. In this, you can only have 2 units with a leader. Now they can each carry a support weapon. So it now goes back to the German turn. I mean, the Germans basically playing defender here. All right, so the German is going to activate one of his units. So he had 11. He's going to go down to 10. He's got 10 impulses. God, that is so amazing. It's going to be so hard for the Russians right now because of just that one little... And he's going to activate his sniper here. The sniper is going to go 1 into that little hex. And then he's going to go 2, 3 into that building right there. Gives him a little bit of a line of sight between those buildings right there. Maybe into that hex right there. Maybe into this hex as well. So can kind of slow down the advance a little bit. So he's going to, you don't want to keep your snipers up on the front lines, but he is, he's not going to be a defensive unit. He's not going to be able to help defend the objectives, especially against the shock units who are +1 in melee. Snipers are very bad in melee, so he wants to definitely stay away from those guys. So that is the German activation. It now goes over. Oh wait, no, sorry, we got to put a move counter on it, and we got to put a move counter on him as well. Sorry. All right. So again, because I'm playing solo, whatever the unit does will be up here on the north side, facing, towards the north edge of the map there. So if they would fire, then obviously it would be like this. If they move, it's going to be like that. All right. I keep knocking things around, which don't help. All right, so it's up to the Russians. Now, the Russians have less impulses, so they can pass. The only time you can ever pass is when you have less impulses than your opponent. Problem with the Russians passing is if they keep passing and passing, the Germans will just set up in better and better positions, and then when they go to activate, they'll be coming in, and they'll just the Germans will be all set up ready to fire in all their good defensive positions. So and that was a really good move by the Germans, actually, because you do have this nice stack which would like to come in and go 1, 2, 3, 4, or 1, 2, 3, 4. But as soon as he comes in that hex, right, you got this sniper ready to shoot him. So that's definitely going to change what the Russian's going to have to do to bring his unit in, which really is not making the Russian player very happy at all. He'd like to bring in that unit because all right. Well, all right. The Russians gonna activate this unit right here, which is going to take them down from 5 already down to 4. The Germans have 10 remaining. The after this, the Russians will have 4 remaining. And he's going to go 1, 2 to go into that building hex right there. Now, the German that's in there, good opportunity fire. Because he is not fired. Does he want to? Now he has to think, where is this guy going to go? Is he going to go here or here? Where is he going to try to go to? Can he catch him out in the open? If he goes here, he'll be behind. I guess because that's a colored dot. Let's see. Yeah, I think that would be blocked. So the German player, he can still see this guy, so he says, nah, go ahead. And then the Russian player is going to go ahead and move in to this hex right there. Oh, Nilly, we might have some combat coming up. We might have some combat coming up. So he is moved as well. Now he does have a Molotov. And the German player knows this, so he's going to have to do something about that. Because next activation, this guy can throw the Molotov into his hex. And that would not be very friendly. That would be very, very unhappy German. So the German player is going to spend an activation. So he's going to go from 10 to 9. And he's going to activate this guy to fire. So let's look at firepower and all that crazy nonsense so you can take a look at this. I'm just going to move these aside. Hopefully you guys can see a little bit anyways. Alright, so what we're going to do is we're going to take the firepower of the unit. In this case, he's got a firepower of 4 and a range of 6. Is he in range? Yes. He's got line of sight? Yes. He also has a light machine gun. Each squad can only ever carry 1 gun or 1 support weapon. So, and they can use it as long as they're within range and everything. So 4 firepower, 6 firepower for the unit. And the, what is this gun? That is a light machine gun. All right. MG34. Okay. So it's an MG34. So 6 firepower plus he gets a +1 because he's got a leader that's kind of directing him or helping him and everything. So let's look at the defense of the defender. So the defender is going to be a 4. And let's see what kind of building. Oh, he's in that stone building there, which is going to be 90% of what's down in this general vicinity is all buildings. Again, really tough. It makes it very hard. The Russians really need to come in and do their melees and all that stuff. So they got a defensive 4. The building's a +2, so that is a 6. So you take the firepower, 6. You subtract the defensive value, 6. And you get a number. In this case, it goes anywhere from -5 all the way up to +7. So in this case, we're on the 0 column because 6 minus 6 is 0. If it was 102 minus 102, it'd still be on the 0 column. If it was 8 versus 4, then you'd be on the +4 column. If it was 3 versus 6, you'd be on the -3 column. So whatever the difference is, you're just going to look at the column. You're going to roll 2d6 and add your modifiers. So, oops, I'm sorry. We forgot. There is firepower modifications. So, adjacent target is a +1. So he is actually going to be 7 firepower versus 6 defense. So he's going to be on the +1 column. Melee, nope. Degraded line of sight, nope. Shake it, nope. Intensive fire, nope. Alright, die roll modifier. Moving fire is a -1. So this unit did move. So he's going to be get a -1. Attached leader is a +1. So those will basically cancel out. Height advantage, no. Because they're both in these level 2 buildings. So they're equal height. Ambush, no. Elite engineer, assault, shock unit, melee, no. Poor quality unit, nope. Intensifier, nope. All right, so there we go. We're going to be rolling on the +1. We got a -1 modifier and a +1 modifier, so those cancel out. So we're just going to roll 2d6s. We need a 6 or higher to get some kind of result. 6 or higher to get some kind of result. Let's see what the German player can scrounge up here. Oh, Jesus. That was crazy. I believe that was right here. That guy was there. Oh, let's try not to miss the thing next time. All right, here we go. So, on the +1 column, he's a 6 or higher. He rolls a 5. 5 is a blank. So, on the +1, a 5 is a blank. Again, higher is always better. So, in this case, he gets a counter flip, which goes from moved over to used because he spent his 2 actions. So he is done. He will get his move counter. And that's going to be it for the German impulse. So now it's up to the Russian impulse. That's interesting. Very interesting. Very interesting. The Russians only have 4 impulses left. They do not want to, if they pass, right? Because they have less impulses left. They have 4. The Germans have 9. So they could pass. But if they pass, then somebody else could move up and kind of help protect this unit. Sure why that is there. Alright. What is... Okay, that's the... Boom, 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 boom. I'd hate to waste multiple impulses on this one guy, but we got to get our leader in. That would be 2 activations. I'd like to get a couple more of these guys on the east edge over here. All right, the Russian player is going to They're going to... Damn. Sniper would only be able to target one person. And the sniper can target a leader. That's the one problem that I have with moving him out there. So the Russian is just going to activate this one shock troop with the Molotov. So he's going to go from 4 activations down to 3 activations. Maybe, if I can find 3. There's 3. And so he is going to move here for 1. Now, do the sniper take a shot at him? Of course, if he fires, then that'll be it for him. Does he want to try and hit the leader? So he's going to pass. And then the German's going to move here for another 1. So that's 2 movement points. And... getting dangerously close to the... Again, there's a control point right there. I don't know if he's going to even have line of sight there. Let's see. Let's see. I think he would pass. He's going to pass anyways. And then the German... or the Russian's going to go... 3-4 and move into the building there. Of course, there could be opportunity fire. This guy is adjacent. So he will opportunity fire. So that's going to cost an activation by the Germans. So he's going to go from 9 to 8. Alright, same deal. He's got a 4 firepower, and yeah, that's just a control marker, so just 4 firepower. 1 firepower because the unit's adjacent, so he's a 5. Defensively, unit is 4, he's in a +2 building hex, so he's a 6. So it's a 5 on a 6. So he's a -1, he doesn't have any leader or anything, so he's on the -1 column. On the -1 column, we need at least a 7 or higher to try and get some kind of result. So 7 or higher. He rolled a 5. So this unit is marked with moved. This unit is marked with fire. Alright, and because he opportunity fired, and it did not change. It did not cause this unit to stop moving or anything. The activation actually goes back to the Russians. If he would have stopped his movement and if he would have stopped his, let's say stop this unit was here. Maybe this guy shot him instead, and he did some damage to him and caused him to stop. Then it goes back over to the owning player's turn. But because he didn't, it goes to the Germans. So it's over to the German player, I believe is how it's done. I'll have to double check that, but I'm pretty sure that I got that right. So German, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? You see that +2 to all their defenses are going to make it a little bit hard. A little bit hard. But I think what the Germans are going to do is they're going to try and bring up some reinforcements here. Looks like this north edge is under assault. So the Germans going to spend an impulse. It goes from 8 down to 7. He's going to activate this assault unit, who's got a bundle on his thing. He's going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, and he's going to stay in the building again, in the building. And he will get a move marker, and it'll be back to the Russian player. Russian player's down to 3 impulses left already. We might be trying to throw a Molotov. Let's see here. That is... What's the spelling of that? M-O-L-O. Let's do a search for M-O-L-O. M-O-L-O. Boom, 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 boom. Looking to see if there's any information specifically about the Molotov. Don't think so. I don't think so. They're one-time use weapons. Be used against a vehicle. Yeah, alright. I guess it's just going to be... Let's see here. Molotov. 2 at range 1. Alright. He's going to use his Molotov. He's going to throw it in on this guy right here on the control point. And so that... good question. If he gets to fire with that, does he get... Okay, I guess he does get to use it. Alright, so he's actually got 5 firepower. 2 for the Molotov is 7. Plus 1 because he's adjacent is 8. 8 firepower. So 5, 6, 7. 1 because he's adjacent, 8. The unit's got a defensive 4. And he's in the building for 2. So 8 and minus 6 is plus 2. So he's going to be on the plus 2 column. And on the plus 2 column, he needs at least a 5 to get some kind of result. Obviously, higher is better. Steeler fan. I've never played any of these types of games before, but I love everything to do with East Front of World War II, so I'm very interested. All right. Cards and Dice is here. What's going on, man? Cards and Dice. How you doing? Wow. We got all the bigwigs in the house today. Viper Dave, Cards and Dice, Steeler fan. Thanks, guys. All right, here we go. Let's see what we can do with plus 2 column. Oh my God. I am horrible at rolling damage. He rolled a 4, and that is a big fat woof. And that is a miss. And that unit is now spent. Used up. Nothing left that he can do. He's used. And that costs an activation, so they're down to 2 activation points left. Germany's going to activate this unit down here, which is going to take him from 7 down to 6. 6. There it is. 6 activations left. It's going to activate this unit. 1, 2, 3, 4. He's going to move there. So he is done. Back to the Russians. Russians are going to pass. So having that leader right there is good because leaders have a command radius anytime these units are making a guts check. They will get a bonus within that range. So he's actually helping both of those units there. He might want to move 1. Alright, he will activate, so he's down to 5 left. 5, there we are. You know what? I am going to activate this unit to move. He's fired. He hasn't moved yet, so he can keep moving. I think I'm going to move him out of there, even though it's I have a plan. Might not be a very good one, but it's a plan. And he is going to move 1, 2. Let's see, where does he want to go? That's a tough. It's just a cluster here, isn't it? I mean, if you can slow the Russians down. 1, 2. You know what? Let's just move them out of there. Let's be smart. It's gonna go 1, 2. You know, he's gonna go 1, 2, 3. He's gonna move back there. All right, so he's moved. Let's be smart. Let's just move them out of there. All right, back to the Russians. They're going to move up this unit here. 1, 2, 3, 4. He's down to 1 impulse left. German player is going to activate his leader and the unit. He's down to 4. And he's going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And flip him over to used. Or no, wait, just moved. He just moved. This guy is used because he already fired it now. There we go. Alright, so back to the Russians. They have one activation left. Again, this rifle squad is not really a rifle squad. He's a shock troop. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to replace that with this so we don't get it confused. He is going to activate the fire. He's going to throw the Molotov into this hex. 5 plus 2 plus 1 for being adjacent is 8. They have a defense of 4 plus 2 is 6, so 8, 6. He's on the +2 column. All he has to do is roll 5 or higher, and he can try to get a result. 5 or higher. And it's used, and the Molotov is gone. He's wasted 2 Molotovs. Didn't get any damage from either one of them. Oh my goodness. Good gracious. And that was his last activation. Wow. So now the German player is going to activate his unit from 4 down to 3 activations left. He's going to activate this guy to fire, which will spend him. He's got 4 firepower. He is adjacent, so he's up to 5 firepower. The unit has got a 4 defense, plus 2 for the building is 6. So he's on the -1 column, but he does get a +1 to the roll. Nope. He gets a -1 because he already moved, and a +1 because of the leader, so it's just a straight up roll. So on the -1 column, he needs at least a 7. 7! Hey! Alright, so 7 on the -1 column is an S chance. So the unit needs to make a guts check or become shaken. Guts check again is a 7 or higher. High in this game is always good. You always want to roll high. High, 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 high. And that is a 7, so he makes it. And this unit becomes used. They have 3 activations left. He'll activate the sniper 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 hexes away. He's only got a firepower 2. Only got a firepower 2. This guy has a defense of 6. So he's on the -4 column. Cost and activation, he's down to 2. He's down to 2. And he's on the 2, 6. He's on the -4 column. He needs at least a 9. Nope. So he fired. But with 2 activations left, he's going to activate his sniper again to fire. That will use him up. Again, he's on the -4 column. 6, 7, 8. No, just missed it. And with his last activation, he will use the machine gun. Firepower 3, 6 for defense, so he's on the -3 column. 7 is nothing, so that would make him fired, and that would use up his last activation. Whoa! Alright, where is our little chart here to tell us our steps? Play turn. Melee, there is no melee. Remove unit markers. Okay, so all of these. There was a lot of shooting going on and not a lot of damage. That was like big time whiffs. Like everybody. Nobody wants to hurt one another. It's like, wait a minute, we won't shoot you if you don't shoot us. Okay, sounds good to me. So the Russians get a few units on. They throw a couple Molotovs, which do nothing. The Germans, which are standing across the street shooting at the building, can't do enough damage. These Russians throw the Molotov across the street into that building. It does nothing. There's a whole lot of nothing that happened in turn one. Good Lord. What else do we do? Score victory points. End of turn. Alright, so that is going to be the end of turn number one. Do we have time for another turn? Wow. We'll take it down to turn number 6. Any leader changing their unit they're with? Nope. I think everyone's happy with who they're with. Nobody's become damaged or anything, so I think we're okay. Alright, so now we're doing initiative. Black for the German, white for the Russians. Wow. The Germans win. Now, the Germans get to roll 2d6 for activations. 6. Don't forget they have the command and control and they can add 3, but I think 6 will be enough. I think they will have to just pick their battles better. The Russians get 3d6. Hey, Thor 4, what's going on, brother? Here we are, our little print and play map. You like our print and play map? If you guys are interested, Wargaming Vault has a print and play sale going on. The website is, what's it called? Wargamevault.com. And a summer sale until tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock. You get 25% off on a whole bunch of different print and play things. So if you're interested, it's not that weird stick and ball game. No, it's not. I bought this and I was like, oh, this turned out really I like my map. I am using my counters from the game I actually own. But let's see how many activations the Russians get. 3, 6, 7, 8. So the Russians have a little bit more activations. 8. Alright. Still not rolling very high, am I? I do have a mortar attack as well. Ooh, and that would be a free activation. And they do have 3 units right there. In line of sight from this guy. You know what? It's a free attack. They're going to do it. So first thing we're going to do is put a little dice where we're aiming. Now we got to roll to see if it's accurate. 1 to 4. I'm sorry. 4 or higher and it's accurate. If it's a 1, 2, or 3, then it's going to drift. And we'll go through that here in a second. Let's see if it's accurate. 4. It's accurate. So it lands right there. Boom. Alright. So the damage is, or the attack is a 4 here. And then all the adjacent ones are 2 and a 2. So, let's go for the sniper first. Sniper's got a defense of 3 plus 2 for the building. That is a 5. Oh, shit. Reroll. Great, thanks for the tip on the sale. Yeah. So I printed this out. I do have the nice all the counters and everything printed out, my label sheets. I just haven't mounted them on anything yet. But it does come with the counter sheets. It comes with all of the scenarios, and of course my huge, massive map board. I've got sheets and more sheets and more sheets, and this map board is huge, but it looks so good, doesn't it? All right. So what are we doing? Oh yes, right. We're doing our attack. That's what we're doing. So sniper is a defense of, what do we say the sniper is? He's a defense of 3, 4, 5. It's a 2 attack. So he's on the -3 column. 6 is no damage. Oops. No damage. This guy is in a building. He's a 6. It's a 2 attack, so he's on the -4 column. Ooh, 4 and an 11 is a B chance. So possible broken. So this unit needs to make a guts check. Again, I've got a dice out here. Both sides are 7. So they got to roll 7 or higher for a guts check. Oh, an 11, he makes it no problem. Now this unit's going to get the brunt of the attack. He is a defense of 2. Plus 2 is 4. The attack is a 4. So he's on the even column. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. He's on the even column. He rolled a 12. That is an X. X. X means eliminate. Means dead. Gone. Gone. So he just blew up that heavy machine gun. He blew up that heavy machine gun. And that is worth 2 victory points. Oh, right. The Germans need to get the Russians need to get their reinforcements on the board too. They're gonna push, I think, from the north. Where's he going to come in? Yeah, he'll come in right there. No, that's kind of stupid. Damn, where's he going to come in? I guess he'll follow his friend right up the gut. All right. So the other thing that can happen is I think because it's off-board artillery, I think he can collapse the buildings. Let's look at that. Let's look at that, shall we? Bum. Combat, moving fire, intensive fire, leader casualty roll, fire groups, vehicle combat, vehicle damage, tank duels, opportunity fire. Here we go. Offboard assets, artillery. Alright, these are heavy structures. Need to roll a 6. So we'll check with the snipers building first. Check for structure collapse. And even if there's no units actually in the building. Well, that's true because it landed here. You could actually collapse this building as well. Alright, so let's see where the sniper stands. Need a 6. And then we'll go from there if it ends up collapsing. So the sniper, it's a 1. He's okay. Now we'll go to this hex where there's nobody in and see if that... Nope. And then we'll go to the building where the assault unit is. And no. Okay, so nothing collapsed. But it could have. But it could have. That would have been super cool. If it would have collapsed, then the units in there undergo an attack using the firepower against the units, unmodified defense, and a +1 firepower if the structure is multi-level, which these are. Well, yes, they are all multi-level. So that would have been very dangerous. So that was a free attack. That was their luck card they drew at the beginning. And yeah, that was something pretty good for the Russians. They took out that heavy machine gun team with a 12. How about that, huh? That's crazy. Alright, so what do we got left? So it is up to the Germans' turn, actually. Germans won initiative. Now they have less impulses, so they can pass, but the problem is you got these 2 units that are adjacent. These guys can come in and try to assault us. I'm not a big fan of that. I do have a leader in both of these hexes, and if they come in, they could kill off some leaders. So we could move back, get out of there. This is a victory point hex, but it is only 1 victory point. There's 5 of them. There's 1 here, 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 and here. There's 4 down here, and there's 1 up here. Giving up that 1 is not the end of the world, because it's at the end of the scenario, whoever owns more of them wins the scenario. So you know what? I am going to move this guy back. Snipers, which are right here, are very dangerous to leaders. So normally your leader can't be targeted by anything. And what happens is if the unit they're with takes damage, then they do a casualty check. Snipers are the exception. Snipers can actually target leaders to try and pick them off. So you want to keep these guys away from snipers if possible. And so you know what? The German player starts off with 6 this time. He's going to go down to 5. And he's going to activate these guys right here. He's going to move. He's going to move 2 to go there. Now this guy could opportunity fire. He's got a clear line of sight across the road. He's 2 hexes away. Does he want to try and take a different avenue? You know what? He will fire. So he will spend an activation. Goes 8, goes down to 7. 7. He's going to activate. So he's got a range of 3. He's got a clear line of sight. No height because they're both in these huge buildings. And he's within range, line of sight. So he's attack firepower 5. The German player is a 4. Plus 2 for the building is a 6. So 5, 6. He's on the -1 column. Let's see. He's not adjacent. He hasn't moved. He doesn't have a leader. No height advantage. And so, yeah, everything looks good there. So it's just going to be a straight up -1. He needs at least a 7 to get some kind of result. That is a 6. And that is a big fat woof miss. So he gets a fire marker. The German can finish his move, which he will go 1, 2. And he will get a move marker now. Move marker, there we go. Okay, over to the Itarian. What's going on, man? Wargaming action. Yeah, that's for sure. We got a huge scenario. Itarian, since you're just joining me, I don't know if you know this, but Wargaming, what's it called? Wargaming Vault? Yeah, Wargaming Vault. It's got a sale going on until 10 o'clock tomorrow. 25% off a lot of their things. I ended up buying this, which is the Stalingrad expansion for the volume 1 of the old school tactical. I printed my map. It comes with all the scenarios. I just didn't mount the counters yet, but I got them all printed out. So if you're interested, you should check it out. There's something you might want to buy and print out and play. A whole bunch of stuff is on sale there, so check it out. Just thought I'd let you know that. All right, so what are we doing? We're doing activating the sniper. So he's going from wait, we already activated. He was down to 7, and we didn't get to actually do anything yet because I was going to attack with him, but I decided to change. I'm going to move the sniper 1, 2, 3, 4. So we can put a move counter on him. Now this guy could opportunity fire, and you know what? He will. He's going to try and take that sniper out. Maybe the Russian got a little too aggressive. It's a possibility. So firepower 4, 5, 6. 4, 5, 6. Everything's in range, line of sight. So firepower is 6. He does have leader, so we get a +1 to his dice roll. The Russian player is 4, 5, 6 for defense. So he's on the 0 column. I live in Malta. Little known fact: more bombs fell per square mile than in Stalingrad. In Malta, really? Little known fact: more bombs fell per square mile than in Stalingrad on Malta. Wow, that is. I would have never guessed that, to be honest. So on the 0 column, that is an 8. It's going to be some kind of results. So on the 0 column, an 8 is going to be a broken chance. So he's going to try and break this sniper. He needs to roll a guts check, a 7 or higher. Oh, he does not make it. So the he will be broken. The sniper is broken. So we have our first. Well, we had a death over here. But this is our first actual token that we get to use. Okay, so that was the Russian impulse. Yeah, maybe you moved up too fast on that. But I was trying to put the pressure. You know, the Russians have to go, go, go. All right. Son of a gun. The German's going to activate the unit here to fire. So he's going to go from 5 down to 4 activations left. Alright, so he gets 4 firepower. Being adjacent, he's a 5 firepower. He's 6 defense, so he's in the -1 column. He does have a leader, so he'll get a +1 to his dice roll. On the -1 column, let me just make sure there's no other crazy modifiers here. We already added the +1 because of the adjacent targets. No height advantage. Yeah, so I mean, there's only a few modifiers. I mean, once you do a few attacks, you pretty much can calculate things up pretty quickly. So it's a 5 attack on 6 defense. It's a -1 with a +1. It's on the -1 column with a +1 to the dice roll because of the leader. Oh, actually, hang on a second. Yeah. Right. Okay. Got it. Here we go. Okay. The leader does not give you a +1 to your... It just gives you a +1 to your dice roll. It doesn't give you a +1 to your fire attack. So 5 firepower, 6 defense, -1 column, but a +1 to our dice roll. That is 6, 7, 8. So it would be a 9 on the -1. And that is going to be a C result. 9 on the -1 is a C result. And I think a C result is a casualty. Do we have our first Russian casualty here? I was just looking to see if there's detailed information on... I don't see. I think it's just a casualty. I don't think they have to like make a check or anything, because sometimes there's like a C dash something. That means you take a casualty and a check. In this case, it was a 9 on the -1. It's just a casualty. So the shock troop gets casualty reduced. That gives the small dice, which I'll have to keep track of. So the Russians eliminated the weapon team, the heavy machine gun. That's worth 2 victory points. I believe. Or casualty points. And then, because this guy was casualty reduced, that's 1. Actually, do I have a little black one? Yes, I do. So that'll be 1 casualty point. And the reason you keep track of the casualty points is once you get up to 5 casualty points, for every 5 casualty points, you get a -1 to whatever your impulse roll is. So if you roll 8 and you have -1, you'd only get 7. So you get less impulses. So that's less more casualties you take, the less impulses you get. All right. Hey Al, what's going on, buddy? Paul Island was awarded with the St. George's Cross, which is a UK medal for enduring a siege throughout the entire war. That's why the cross was added to the Maltese flag. Oh, there you go. Sorry for the trivia. Hey, yeah, we don't mind trivia. Trivia time. Everyone say hi to Al Abstract Fan. Be sure to check out his great sports channel. He's come to check out Stalingrad here. Turn number 2. We're just cruising through this, aren't we? Oh my God. Russians' turn. They just took a cash. Oh, wait. We almost forgot. These guys fired. So they get a fire marker. All right, they're going to go from 7 down to 6. And they're going to activate the sergeant here with this shock troop. That guy fired, but it hasn't moved yet. Okay. He's going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right. German can't really see him at that point, so there's not going to be any opportunity fire. In this system, actually, opportunity fire. There's really no advantage to opportunity firing unless the only advantage really is if you think you can stop a unit from moving into a hex that you don't want them to move into. Because you don't get any bonuses, you don't get any anything else like so let's say these were two units, right? And I'm moving up, right? Like this with this unit. Oh, let's come down here. So I got these 2 units. This unit activates over here on the right. And he moves over here. Now this unit can opportunity fire, right? And try to stop him. But if the unit ends up going over here, then this unit can still do the same thing and just shoot him anyways. So there's really no advantage to opportunity fire other than trying to prevent the enemy from getting into a hex with maybe better cover, right? So if the unit's out in the open, you're going to get a better shot than if he's trying to run in a building, right? So obviously that's like the only advantage. But in this scenario, you're literally moving from +2 to +2 to +2 to +2 to +2. There's very few hexes, especially in this quadrant right here, that are not a +2 building hex. This one is not. This one is not. This one is not. This one's not. So there's a couple there. But anything with the building hex in it, or is a +2 to your defense. So you're just moving from +2 to +2 to +2 to +2. So there's no advantage in this unit when this unit moves here to opportunity firing, because he's still going to be in the best defensive position he can get in, whether he's here, 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 or here. So the only time you really need opportunity fire is when the unit's out in the open, where you get the advantage that he doesn't get the better defense. That's worth something though. Where the map a bit different. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, this is a very there's sections of this map that are more open and not as congested. You can see like there's this part is all open here, but a lot of Stalingrad is going to be very tight, building to building fighting. You know. So you have another section of Stalingrad over here. You can see, you know, this is a lot more open here on this side compared to this side over here. So this one, you know, obviously a little bit more line of sight availability as well. In this scenario, it's just you just can't see anything. You just get building by building is blocking line of sight. That's why the Germans were trying to come out a little bit to the edge of this kind of quadrant where they can actually see out a little bit. Anyways, what are we doing? We're trying to move. Whose turn is it? I think it's the Russians' turn, isn't it? So we got a broken sniper here. This guy moved and fired, right, so he should have been flipped over to used. He's used, which is bad for him. Although he does have a sniper that can help him out if this guy tries to come across. Yeah, that's... He's got to risk it. He's got to risk it. So we're going to activate this guy to move. And he's going to go 1 right there. Now the sniper has his sight. He's going to shoot at him. And he does have line of sight because... maybe not actually. Let me think. Does he have line of sight to that hex? Well, let's just see about that. It does cross that building there, so I'm going to say no. He does not have line of sight. Yeah, I don't think he does, because this is a level 2 building hex, because it's got the little icon in the corner. So I think that is going to be blocked just off the corner there. So this guy runs over there for 1, 2. And then he's going to go 3, 4. And again, because it's got the color corner, he can actually... You have to decide if you're going to be in the clear or in the building. And he's going to go in the building. And that will be a moved order. Now, again, the sniper can opportunity fire, but it's not going to matter because he's done moving anyways. So we might as well wait to shoot him now. He could try to shoot him, because this guy hasn't fired yet. And he does have a Molotov. So does the sniper try to protect that unit? He's only got a firepower of 2, which is not a lot. He'll be on the -4 column. Yeah, he needs to pick off some guys out in the open, but there's just nowhere good for him to shoot. Not in this close. That's why the Germans have 2 snipers. Because there's just no open area in here whatsoever. Let me look at the we don't have a card. There wasn't a card for the German assaulters. I'm wondering if the assaulters get a +1 like the shock troops. I wonder if the assaulters get a +1. Let's look at our cards and see. Maybe truck. Oh, there we are. Oh, yeah. Okay, so they are +1 in melee. That's what I was wondering. Because the Germans have a couple assaulters. In fact, here's an assaulter right here. So the assaulter is going to activate, so the German is going to go down from 4 to 3. 3 activations left. He's going to go 1, 2, 3, 4 in the building. And he'll take a move icon on him. Again, this guy could opportunity fire, but he could also just wait and shoot now because it's no different. Because he's still going to be in the same hex as I mean, he could opportunity fire when he's here, but it's a +2. Or opportunity fire here when he's a +2, so it's not going to matter. In fact, this is better because he gets a +1 at least because he's adjacent now. So the Russians have 6 left. Russian's going to activate, go from 6 to 5. Maybe. There it is, 5. It's going to activate this guy here. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's just trying to go through these buildings is so hard. So he's moved. German. German's going to pass because they have less activations. So back to the Russians. These guys are... Now that is a double squad. Again, you need a leader to move with them, and it costs you 2 activations. So they're going to go from 5 to 3. Wherever the 3 is. There it is. So it costs them 2 activations. They're going to activate and go 1. I don't think anybody has line of sight to him. 2. Nobody again. 3, 4. Because again, the triangle. He's in the building. And he moved. So it's 3 activations to 3 activations. But the Russians are slowly but surely moving up now. Alright. Oh, the German's got his big fat bundle there. Boy, he'd like to use that on that stack over there. That would be awesome. Plus, you got a German unit here that's getting sandwiched. The Russians, I thought the Russians were going to be in trouble in this scenario, but they're starting to... That first turn really hurt them, where they only had 6 activations and the Germans had 12. That really slowed them down. But now that they got a good activations going, Russians are going to activate these guys right here. This sergeant and this shock troop. Yeah, yes, they're going to... Yes, they're going to 1, 2 right there. I don't think any of the Germans can see him, and then he's going to go 3, 4 and go right there in the building. Sniper can opportunity fire, but again, he could also just wait because he's already in good terrain. Does the sniper's got to move the hell out of there, because if he opportunity fires, this guy's just going to assault him. So the Germans going to go from 3 to 2 and activate his sniper to move out of there. He's going to have to move, which is a problem, and that's why the Russians just did what he did, because when the sniper moves, if he goes in this hex. Oh no, that's a building hex. And this is a building hex as well. He could choose the street. The problem is the sniper's only got 3 movements. So he's going to have to go in the street to get back into a... So he's not going to get killed here in a second. Oh, Jesus. If he goes in the street, though, this guy can open fire on him. And it is a shock troop with a sergeant. That's going to be a problem. Dang. Hey Philip, how's it doing? How's it going, buddy? Does he have a better view if in the building behind him? Debris costs 2 to enter. Damn. So I was thinking maybe here to here, but that's not going to do it either. 3 movement points is not enough. Oh, I'm sorry. Movement points is the middle number. This is... Wait. I'm confusing myself now. That's what I'm doing. Yeah, it is movement points. That's defense. That's movement points. Right. So 1, 2, 3. But then he'd be out in the street. This guy can shoot him. Oh, he's just not in a very good position anywhere to get out of there. 2 to go there. 1. These are 1s. Or 2s. 1 or 2s. If he chooses this as a 1, this guy will attack him. If he chooses a 2, it would cost him 2, 4. This guy would attack with 5 firepower. He would have 5 defense, though. Snipers are pretty defensive. You know, he's going to risk it. He's going to go 1. He's going to be in the street. This guy will fire, which will make him ops complete. He does get a -1 because he moved. So he's going to be 5 firepower, 5 defense, so even. +1 for the leaner, -1 because he moved. So it's going to be just a flat up 0, 0, 0. And a 6 on the 0, 0, 0. And possibly shaken. So the sniper needs to make a gut check 7 or higher. He did not make it, which means he is shaken. This guy is ops complete though. And he also is moved and shaken. That took an activation for him to opportunity fire. So it's 2. And because he stopped the German activation midway, it doesn't go to the Russians, it goes back to the Germans. So the Germans get to go again. Go from 2 down to 1. They're going to activate this assault unit right here. And he's going to go 1. That's about the only space in the whole place. It's a 1. Right there's a 1. Two, 3. He's going to go right. You know what? Better use the defense. It's going to go in the building there. All right. So back to the Rush. He gets a move counter. Back to the Russians. All right. Activate this rifle squad. He's going to go 1, 2. Again, I don't think anybody can see him. And then 3, 4 will go in the building. Move. We're down to 1 activation now. Each team with the last activation. What is it going to be? What's it going to be? Your last activation, my friends. These guys are going to activate the fire again. It's a 4. Plus 1 for Jason is 5. Defensive 6, so -1. They get a +1 on the dice roll because they have a leader. So they did not move. They fired. Now they're going to fire again on the -1 column. 10 +1 because the leader is 11. 11. It's a casualty and a broken result, but because he's already been reduced, the Germans now go from 1 casualty up to 2 casualty points. And that guy has been removed. Look at that. Another casualty bites the bullet. And that was their last activation. The Russians get one last shot at it. Shock troop with the Molotov. Yep. Shock troop with the Molotov. So that is 5, 6, 7, 8 firepower. 6 defense. So on the +2 column. +2. 5. Really? That's a shaken result. A guts check, and they failed, so they will become shaken. So the unit becomes shaken. He rolled this. Wait a minute. He gets a +1 because of the leader. He rolled a 6, so he does not become shaken. Disregard. The leader gives you a +1, I believe. Right? I know they give you a +1, but is it on the check or is it on your? Let's see, leaders. Attaching leaders. Other units must be within command range to get the +1 dynamo modifier for rally and for rallying checks. Okay, he does become shaken. Sorry. He just gets a +1 for rallying checks. It's not going to matter because it's the end of the turn, right? Because that was their last activation. So there's no sense in trying to rally them or anything anyways, because at the beginning of next turn, everyone gets a free rally attempt. So that's going to be the end of turn number 2. There is no, let's see, there's no play turn melee. There's none. Remove the unit marker, score the victory points, end the turn. Yep, that's going to be it. So you can take off these. And then we can start the next turn next time. We've had some casualties here. We got a... Oh, Annie threw that Molotov, so that's out of the game too. So they've used up 3 of their Molotovs. One of the shock troops are dead. The heavy machine gun's been killed. A couple units are shaken. Alright, and now I've got to find a way to keep this all, but yet get it out of my way because I gotta be able to use my desk and my keyboard and everything. So that'll be it. Thorough force under attack by a cockroach the size of a sparrow who flew in his window. Okay, somebody call 911 and help him out. He's under attack over there. Yes, this guy's broken. We can get rid of that counter. So the Russians are starting to push the Germans back, that's for sure. Oh my gosh. You're driving me crazy. Alrighty guys, well that'll be it for today. Just a couple turns, turn 7 and turn 6. We'll bring you back with turn 5 and 4 probably tomorrow or whenever we can. I'm going to have to slide these units that are on the map edge board over 1 hex. I have to remember that they go back to that map board because I've got to try and move this stuff out of my way. So, alright, Thorough 4, Robert, Al, Red Sox fan, Philip Reynolds, everyone that came by, appreciate it. Stalingrad, taking a break. If you're interested in any war games and you like to print out your own stuff, this is my own printout, my own map. War Game Vault is having a sale until tomorrow morning. It ends at 10 o'clock. You can pick up a lot of really good games. This is the Stalingrad expansion. Come here, you. So this is the Stalingrad expansion for Old School Tactical Volume 1. East Front by Flying Pig Games, if you're interested. But you can, they come with your own, all the scenarios. This is part of the map. That's like 30 by 40, and so I printed out all the different sections of it, and then kind of just taped them together, so you can see there. But massive game, but they have all kinds of games, all kinds of printout games that you can print out yourself, try out, and you might find something you like. So head on over there. I'm going to be heading over there. That's why I want to move this out of the way, because I'm going to be heading over there. I'm going to buy probably Old School Tactical 2, which is the West Front against the Americans. And they got a couple expansions for that. And maybe some other stuff as well. So I am using the counters from the original game, which is really nice. So I don't know what I'm going to do yet. But anyways, I wanted to try out one and see how it played and how hard it was and building it and putting it all together. And I think it works pretty good. So map is awesome. All right. The game is awesome. Thanks, Robert. All right. Take care, everyone. We'll see you all next time. Have a good night, guys. We'll talk at you soon.